Okay, so that video about the Patreon, the title of that video hasn't exactly aged the best. So here's a video that it's gonna be strange because I wasn't planning on making this, but I figured, you know what, fuck it, let's try it. So there's something that I've been meaning to do around here as far as my creative space, my environment, something that I've talked about quite frequently on prior videos or more frequently on my streams. On my streams, I'm always talking about how I'm very congested and just cooped up in the space that I am at because I have bad space management issues. I'm quite frankly a hoarder, a self-proclaimed, a self-admitting hoarder and shopping addict, and I know that sometimes that's kind of bitten me in the ass to an extent. And recently I had a little bit of a wake-up call, and that wake-up call was that my IQ points or my IQ prowess have peaked, astronomical proportions, because there's no way that you have to quit a job if you get fired from your job. Yeah, let's just say that avenue of my life is no longer taking up my time. Shit has gone down, and that's a story for another time. But with the much more free time that I got, I figured, you know what, it is time. It is time to undergo this massive project of restructuring the room here that I use for pretty much everything that I create, whether it be the videos that you're watching on YouTube or the streams that you see on the different platforms that I stream to, and all other kind of content that I create, even stuff that you guys don't necessarily see, but I'm always kind of working on the background, whether it be the scripts for the video essays. Being able to work in a comfortable environment goes a long way to boosting productivity. Sometimes I feel a little bit cooped up and I don't have the proper workspace to be able to work comfortably. What exactly am I talking about? Well, let me show you. Okay, so I just pulled you away from the tripod that the camera was just on, and there's one of the source lights. There is another, what I like to call a clamp light. Let me just make sure that we are properly focused. And there's one of my background lights. This is often the light that's illuminating most of me in the background whenever I'm streaming. There I have my shelves of my various action figures. There's the famous 43-inch 4K TV that I refuse to watch Godzilla vs. Kong on. So I'll keep you guys updated as to how that's going to play out. There are my controllers. There's the PS5 controller. There's the Stream Deck that I use to switch scenes when I'm streaming. Obviously, I am on the gaming chair, and there is my phone. There I have the laptop that's currently recording my audio connected to my Samsung G Track Pro microphone that I'm using to currently record the audio. And then I have stacks upon stacks of Switch games and PlayStation games. There's a couple of Xbox games thrown in there, but this is where said hoarding begins. There's the giant stack of backlog games that I'm always kind of referring to and pointing at in certain streams. There's what I like to call the encoding laptop or backup laptop, the Asus ROG 502, I believe, with a 2060 in it. Below it, you see a brown box. That brown box is my Hot Toys Iron Man figure from the Age of Ultron line, just being used as a way to keep the laptop up. That's one of my issues that I'm having. Behind the door over there is a Samsung 27-inch 2K 144 hertz monitor that is called I think it's called a space monitor. Yeah, there it is right there. It's on the box. Space monitor. Basically, it's a space monitor that requires a desk to clamp onto to be able to use, and that's something that I would love to incorporate into my productivity to use, whether it be for editing or for streaming or whatever. On top is that lamp that my mom recently got me for Christmas. You guys saw it in the Christmas haul video. There's a fan, there's an iron board, there's a bunch of stuff cluttered. There's even a tripod and some weight. See, okay, this is where it begins. This is where the fun begins. So as we pan over here, you'll notice I have giant box here of all of the majority of my steelbooks and even some games, some Switch games, some collector's editions, Skyrim special edition, a couple of steelbooks, a couple of 4K editions. Again, I need to prop up the brightness on this one because it's about to get gnarly. And they're all sitting on top of a giant black archive container where I have the majority of my paperwork and stuff. 2 or 3 bags of snacks, vitamins, drinks, medicines / ZQL or sleeping aids that I would need originally when I needed to wake up early. And then this is where it starts to get crazy. I have a couple of more Hot Toys figures. There's my Quadcast mic. There's some Funko Pops just stacked upon each other. some boxes, a couple of more games and special editions, steelbook sets or movie sets. There's the there's the Infinity Saga collection. There's the Lord of the Rings 4K trilogy. You guys are starting to get the idea that it's bad, and I know that it's bad, and it's time for a change. So more and more boxes stocked on top of each other. There's stuff inside of those boxes. I think the PlayStation 5 box is right over there. There I am. Hey, look at me. Light, a couple of figures, and then this is where it really starts to look bad. Look at that, Mount motherfucking Everest. Not an Hispanic household without a picture of Jesus to judge me. But then we have next to it, even more judgment abiding, the Mount Everest of just boxes upon boxes of just lumped all over it, from console game or console boxes to equipment boxes to a bunch of other shit that I know for a fact that I don't need, even some special editions. You can kind of see the Ghost of Tsushima and God of War special editions up there. Box for Philips Hue lights that I got, handful of other stuff, and there's probably a shit ton of other stuff buried inside that needs cleaning up. And then the coup de grace that I'm hoping to change, do something with that will hopefully bring a drastic change, and sitting on top of it a couple of more brown boxes, special edition or collector's editions of Last of Us Part 2 and Uncharted 4 specifically. But here are these two giant mattresses, and originally I didn't know what I was going to be doing with them, but recently me and the mother have concocted a plan that maybe I will start using those mattresses, because I've been in need of comfortable a comfortable sleep. And recently I've kind of made the evaluation that maybe my mattress has been overused in the past few years. So I figured, you know what, since these have barely been slept on over the years, I'm gonna start sleeping on these, and then my original bed, get rid of it. So this is gonna be taken out nonetheless, but now it's going to have a better, much proposed use. And getting rid of these mattresses, even if we don't actually get rid of them, they're still in the household, I'm going to be using them in a different room, but getting them out of here will go a long fucking way to making sure that I can get this mountain done. And something that I will love to do, and we'll see this in the after portion of this video, is getting, like I said, the mattresses down, and then maybe getting this entire wall here. It's a shame I'm not having the autofocus on, but I digress. But getting this entire wall restructured, getting some of that shit down from the wall, getting rid of those things. Like I said, getting rid of the mattresses, getting rid of an exercise machine that's over there in the back that's not being used at all. Getting Mount Everest down, that's what we're going to call it from now on. And setting up either shelves or bookcases or media racks or whatever to house all this stuff. Stack the collector's editions on top of each other, but in a display format. Set up some lights and maybe have this entire wall be like my background for future videos in the future. Like, this is going to be my background whenever I do either steelbook updates or vlogs or things like that. Plus, it gives me something to do before going crazy, with what I'm kind of dealing with right now, as far as not having a job and looking for a new one and figuring out how finances are going to work. So this is an interesting outlet that I'm about to undergo. You guys saw the before. Now it's time to see the after. And here we are. So the timing of this recording is now March 16th. Tomorrow, a lot of people are going to be drinking. The day after, they're probably going to have a tremendous hangover. And Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League will be debuting on HBO Max. But more importantly, after quite literally almost about a month and a half since that first part of the video, I have more or less wrapped up the makeover portion of what I was trying to achieve here with the project, because this is the end result. So let me just kind of temper with the focus there. And as you can see, this is going to be the wall. This is the brand new, newly formed background that you're going to be seeing in an awful lot of my videos. So after finally getting rid of those mattresses, which are now in my room and I am now sleeping on, this is essentially going to be the new background. the new, as I call it, the wall. So on the center there, you can see pretty much 90 to 95% of all of the collector's edition games that I have, topped off with a couple of little novelties, Funko Pops, Last of Us Special Edition, the Infinity Saga collector set from Marvel, and a handful of other little knickknacks and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the focal point, the centerpiece. And then to the sides, as you can see right there, are going to be 3 racks total, 2 on its left and then 1 on its right, where you're gonna pretty much see all of my games kind of compiled together. So on the right, you pretty much have every single one of my Switch games spined up right there inside of the rack, topped off with a couple of other novelties like the Starlink little accessories, the R-Wing toy, the toy, Toys to Life sort of thing. A couple of little collectible coins that I got from either pre-ordering some games or just pretty much finding them at the store, topped off with a nice little poster there, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, a special edition memory card, little Mario figurine, another Funko Pop, and then, like I said, I'm pretty surprised I was able to get all of my Switch games to fit into that one rack. And then down below, you start to see just a couple of Xbox games, and then a good chunk of the leftover PlayStation 4 games I have yet to play. In fact, some of them are, well, actually most of them are wrapped up in the cellophane still. Some of them even still have the packing slip from when I picked them up. To its right, hidden behind the door when it's naturally closed, is going to be a couple of empty boxes, but more importantly, a handful of posters, both rolled up, boxed up, or just kind of loose there in the background that I've acquired over the years. And then we have 2 more racks over here that are pretty much set up the exact same way as the other portion of the room, except over here you have a couple of more Funko Pops, like you see the Batman Funko Pop, as well as the plushies there. You can kind of see a breakdown there. As I like to call it, that's my nostalgia rack, where at the very top you have a couple of Game Boy Advance games, handheld games like the 3DS, PS Vita, and Game Boy Advance, like I mentioned before. You actually have the Vita and 2DS XL handheld systems right next to them. At the very top, you have some N64 games, NES games, a Darth Vader wooden plaque, a bag to hold the 3DS in, a Gears of War 4 mug that I got as a pre-order bonus for pre-ordering Gears of War 4. I don't know why. DeLorean little toy that I probably showcased in my Instagram photos one time. And then the prime reason as to why I call this my nostalgia rack is because right there in the middle you can kind of see GameCube games, old 360 games that I bought pre-owned from GameStop, PlayStation, and then pretty much the majority, or rather the entirety of my PlayStation 3 physical library, kind of right there in that middle rack. And then heading towards the bottom, you see some more GameCube games, PlayStation 2 games, and then capping it all off with pretty much the remainder of my physical Xbox One backlog. That's also going to be backwards compatible on the Series X. And then moving on to the left is pretty much the remainder of my PlayStation 4 games there at the top, with a couple of little special editions. And then as we work down are pretty much my steelbooks, whether they be steelbook movies or even steelbook games, kind of compiled there in the middle. Sandwiched in the middle are my steelbook cases for games that then segue into my steelbooks for movies. And then off to its left, you can kind of see a couple of more movie sets. At the very top, even more movie sets like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, topped off with a, what is that? Yeah, potential video in the future there, little Transformer DeLorean figure, yeah, but, probably. And then just to kind of give it that flashy aesthetic of this overall display, a little Hollywood branded clapboard right there. And then behind is that drum set that I often reference, that I am still planning on selling. I'm still planning on, parting my ways with it, but I kind of stacked it up in a much neater fashion, or at least as neat as I can get. But if anybody's still interested in that drum set, there it is right there. I'm willing to part with it for a couple of $100, $250, which is a whole $150, almost $200 cheaper than what I got it for. And then kind of sandwiched in the middle is a couple of more posters, a lot more video game centric posters. Like I think there's an Arkham Knight and Kingdom Hearts 3 poster that I managed to acquire there in the middle, just to kind of have its time in the sun eventually, like I said, once we move into the new place. And then as we kind of get over here, this is where we start to get into the slightly unfinished area of the room, because the focal point was to get the wall fixed and done with so I can have a background to film videos up against. But once we kind of start going behind the scenes, as it were, we kind of have some much more crude things going on over here. You can kind of see my snacks and my consumables, rather, whether it be Keurig K-Pods, like the Starbucks Pipelex pods right there, my cream sodas, my medications, and vitamins, bags for snacks, bags for days, snacks for days, and then a giant black archival drawer right there to kind of keep all of my paperwork in one tidy little place, as tidy as it can be. And then over here you start to see some more boxes kind of compound. In fact, let me actually get up and showcase this. Okay, so now we're kind of, as they say in the movie industry, crossing the 180, breaking the 180 rule. And you can kind of see a little bit of my setup going on with the lighting. I finally got a ring light. I've been kind of holding out on getting a ring light period, but I finally managed to find one that I think would suit my needs. You know, it's collapsible. You can actually compile it down into that base, can make it a little bit more portable. So I figured, you know what, let's go with this one. Hang it up. Good you know, color balances if you want to switch in between different color temperatures. Brightness is pretty cool. And then we have my actual desk lamp over there, my clamp lights providing the side light there, and then I even have an additional light right there for a backup, except I don't like the temperature very much, so I'm just gonna have that as a backup to also power the ring light adjacently. But then you see a couple of more boxes kind of stacked up there in that corner, and then some more boxes. You even see another one of those collector's editions that didn't make the cut for the wall over here, which is the Dishonored 2 collector's edition, which I would love to have displayed. In fact, it's partially displayed right there, but it just didn't make the wall at the time. And then down below there you see a bunch of brown boxes. That's pretty much all of my Hot Toys figures. Now, David, you're probably, you know, why don't you just display those figures? You know, those are collectible figures. Those are, you know, they have very nice, you know, boxes to kind of display and window display the figures themselves into. Well, here's the thing. Two reasons. One, what I just mentioned, I'm planning on moving out hopefully within the next 6 to 9 months or so. So the idea is just kind of have them boxed up for the time being so that I can make things a little easier and a little speedier later on when we do finally make the big move and pack up. Second reason is because at the time of this recording, my younger brother is living with us, and I think pretty much at this point daily he brings this kid. And I can't shake the feeling that one of these days it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen where I'm not home, but they are. Kid walks in here, sees that he's quite literally in a toy store, and goes ham. Especially if he sees some very colorful boxes happening over there, and he wants to know exactly what it's all about. So, just in case, they're staying in the brown box. They're gonna remain bland and very boring, but that's for their protection. Okay? Alright. At least for the most part, because you can see there's plenty of other stuff that can easily distract that kid. Anyways, in the back over there, like I said, some more stuff kind of stacked up and in storage. One more snack bag, my phone box. My phone soap box. And then still in its box, but hopefully someday it'll come in handy, especially when we make that big move and kind of renovate what I essentially is going to be my streaming gaming / content creation room, the 27-inch Samsung space monitor there on the side. And I'm still in the process of putting at least 1 or 2 or 3 more boxes there to kind of create like a little bit of a stack up, whether it be with more Hot Toys. That way when I'm streaming, which is essentially happening over there, there's my gaming chair, and then there's the webcam. So when I stream, everything's being pretty much filmed or streamed from this direction when it comes to my camera or my webcam, my face cam, whatever. And so I kind of also want to make a little bit of a background here to kind of just make things a bit more display worthy, and the Dishonored 2 Special Edition is one of those factors. Another factor would be to bring still some more toys and some more boxes that I have in the garage, such as the empty console boxes, whether it be the Switch box, the PS5 box, the Xbox Series X box, and just kind of display them right here and be like, yes, now we're in the gaming sphere of things, and just gonna have this kind of lumped up here in the corner. And plus it'll also provide support in case I want to collapse the ring light and just kind of bring it a little bit closer. So, and as you can see right here, I got one of the box, and this is gonna be folded up and just pushed a little off to the side, so I'll provide a little bit better room going on right here. But the reason why this is displayed is because I'm actually about to shoot a couple of more videos for the channel, which brings me to my next point. I know that it's been a little bit quiet on the channel. Last video I posted was the cyberpunk video essay, and needless to say that I worked quite a bit on that one, to the point where I did somewhat burn out just a little bit. I knew I needed to take a little bit of a break, but I am more or less back. The makeover here that took quite a bit of while to complete, not necessarily because it took that long hour-wise or man-hour-wise to finish, but also because there were just some days where I needed to focus on other things, whether it be the live streams or I just wasn't in the best state of mind. And the people who are close to me, my girlfriend, my friends, stuff like people like that, they know exactly what I've been going through lately, because 2021 has not exactly been a very fun year to put it mildly. As I stated at the beginning part of this video, I did in fact lose my job, so I'm kind of in between jobs right now. It's been about a month and a half, and let's just say that my list on the Indeed side is super long, and quite a good chunk of that list is either filled with rejection letters or pending letters or things like that. So I'm still grinding away in that avenue of my life. And then on top of that, I got dropped from film school. Laptop's been giving me some issues. I had to do a fan replacement, which I managed to achieve, but then afterwards I might have to do another one. Right now it's working just fine, but yeah, there was a point in the past couple of weeks where I wasn't doing too well mentally, and I couldn't really focus on either the renovation project you see behind me or the videos. Streams were pretty much the only thing that I was able to kind of get by, and even then there were times where I had to cancel a stream because I just knew that I couldn't display certain emotions live on camera, and I just knew that that wasn't going to be beneficial for anybody. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come, a sign of things bouncing back. Like I said, right now I'm about to get another video, actually maybe even 2 videos if I can muster up the energy. 2 potential videos about to be filmed with this brand new setup, so expect much more content here on the main Darkspire David channel. And that's the thing, is that there's a main channel and there's a couple of other channels that I'm going to leave you guys to kind of scavenger hunt and look for, where brand new exclusive content is going to go up on, just as a form of me to try to experiment with the yeah, I was about to say algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, and just to kind of see where things lie as far as the content that I create for YouTube in 2021. And if you guys want to stick with it, make sure you do your due diligence and subscribe, turn on notifications. I live stream 2 to 3 times a week between 7 and 7:30 Pacific Standard Time for about 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours. I might even be live when you're watching this video right now, so check out the links in the description. And until next time, guys, like I said, look forward to more content. I'm also in the process of scripting out a brand new video essay, and along with that, like I said, more videos, a new steelbook update video. I have this particular box standing on the table here that I'm about to unbox and kind of experiment with a little bit on camera, just to see what is up, and then figure out what other things I'm going to be doing in between jobs and gigs, and discovering what I love and hopefully expressing that a little bit better this year. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching this little makeover video, passion project of mine. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay humble.